This is Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom, words on leadership, goal setting, and productivity, and a whole lot more. Consider this your daily vitamin or supplement for your mind, your heart, and your soul. Wherever you download podcasts, would you please subscribe to Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom? Leave a rating and a brief written review would be so helpful for people to find this podcast who are currently unaware of it. Today I want to talk about goal setting and the power of goals. Do you have some goals that you're attempting? Do you have some goals of things that you want to achieve in your life, in your business, in your family, your finances, your health, and so on? This difference with a goal, having a goal, it has to be definite. You have to know what it is you're seeking to accomplish. And then you must possess a burning desire to accomplish it. I want to list a few things that are important and why the power of goals and how to achieve them. The first thing is having a goal or goals is important because it gives your life clarity and direction. If we don't know what we're doing and we haven't sought a definite course of action, then we will be taken hostage to help live out other people's dreams and goals. You are an important person. Clarify what it is you've been called to do, what you need to do, and what you can accomplish, and what direction you desire your life to take. Sit down, plan, pray, study, research, come up with some goals and some direction for your life and your family and your business. The second thing that I want to say about the power of goal is when you set a goal, and I'm just going to say a goal, you may have several that you're working on simultaneously. When you set a goal and declare a goal, it is the beginning of accountability. All of us need to be accountable. We need to take our time, our talent, all that we are doing and is expected of us, and to be held accountable to accomplish something. And you can do that. And it will help you to say, I'm going to be accountable. This is what I have determined and I believe that I am supposed to do. The third thing that I noticed happened in my own life when I began to set a goal and goals is I began to gain courage. I knew that I wasn't just going to go haphazardly through life, but that there were some definite things that I want to accomplish and to achieve and to do. And just by declaring it and writing it down and coming to that conclusion was the beginnings of gaining courage to be able to do what it is I believe I'm supposed to do. Now, this is about where most people stop. They'll write it down, they'll think, they'll dream, they'll imagine, they'll think it through, walk through what they would really like to accomplish and say, here is my goal. I'm going to save X amount of dollars. I'm going to get in the best shape I've ever been in. I'm going to be a better worker, a better husband, a better father, a better citizen, whatever it may be. But you really need to do the next thing, and that is list the steps needed to reach that goal. I have certain kinds of apps that will help me when I'm trying to break down a project. And so if I set some audacious goal and I just kept putting that on my task list and putting that as something I was going to accomplish and it's some way out there kind of a goal, if you don't break it down into actionable daily, weekly, monthly steps, you'll get discouraged, you'll give up and say, well, I don't even know what to do. So you think that your planning and your thinking and your strategizing was in coming up with a goal, but you've just really begun. The next thing you need to do is to take some time, list what is it going to take to reach this goal. Try to put some date parameters, deadlines, if you will. What is the material you need to collect in order to make the decision to reach the goal? What are daily actions you need to take? Break it down into the smallest steps, and then when that step is taken and the next step is taken and the next step is taken, write them down so that when you are marrying your task list with your calendar on how you're going to accomplish all of that, you can't just put this large goal in there without some daily direction and daily, maybe even incremental baby steps that need to be taken. So list the steps that are needed to reach the goal. Tomorrow I will do this. The next day that. Next week I will go there, do that. Whatever it is that needs to happen, break it down. Think it through to daily actions that will be required. I'm a big fan of bullet journals where you kind of track habits and track goals. Did you take the steps that you had identified? So it's not just enough to declare I have a goal. You have to list the steps that are needed in order to reach the goal. The next thing I want you to remember in goal setting and working your way through the process is that the process is as important as the goal. And I can hear you say what? I thought the goal was what we were looking toward. I thought the achievement of the goal is going to be the reward, and we're going to feel so good when we have done all of the steps and followed it through and we have achieved the goal. Well, that is sure enough true. But the process, because once you get a process down for goal achievement, it really doesn't matter what the goal is, because now you have begun the process of breaking it down into smaller segments and baby steps that you can take. And it will take exercise. I tried and failed and messed up and started over the years. And now I understand the process. And even though the steps will look different, if it's a spiritual, a financial, a business, a family goal, they'll look different, but the process is pretty much the same. You have to identify key benchmarks. You have to identify material that you need to bring in, some habits that you need to begin, some steps that you need to take. You got to put it on the calendar. You got to break it down into steps so that on your task list or your productivity application or your piece of paper, however you do it, the process is as important as the goal. Because I have discovered over the years, once I have been successful in working through the process to achieve a particular goal, then I understand that the process is what gets me toward that goal. I've just had a health and weight loss goal that I've achieved that I've never achieved in my life. And how I was able to achieve it, I broke it down into a process, step by step, what I'd have to do. Therefore, when I knew what actions I was going to take, it took emotion, it took my feelings out of it, it took out whether I felt like it or not. I just knew that if I was going to reach that goal, I couldn't focus on the goal and the great gap between where I am today and the goal. If you do the process and take the steps, you begin to measure the gain toward reaching your goal. Never underestimate, if you get a process down, it can help you reach whatever goal you have determined to set. The next thing that I want to say to you, it's number 6 if you're counting, is you will make mistakes. You will come to a point where you realize, I really didn't break this down small enough, or the steps that I listed really are not moving me toward the direction of my goal. Mistakes are not mistakes. Mistakes are learning opportunities. It is as important to learn how not to do something sometimes as it is to learn how to do something. You will not be perfect. You will not execute perfectly. The process will have fits and starts, and there are times when you may even have to abandon and start over and rework it. Don't beat yourself up for making mistakes. There is no such thing. I keep saying there's no such thing as a pain-free life. There's no such thing as a mistake-free life. Consider mistakes your tutor, your professor, in learning the lessons of life and goal achievement. Do not give up because you make mistakes. Learn from them and continue on. Don't give up. The 7th thing that I want you to remember in the setting of goals and the power of a goal is you must be adaptable. Right now, this is the 37th recording of a podcast. As I looked over today, the goals that I set for myself at the beginning of the year, podcasting is nowhere in the list. I have always wanted to podcast, but I had a couple of other goals. But the way that life and the providence of God, whatever you want to call it, however you look at it, I met someone, received a coach who helped me to podcast, and here I am. So I became adaptable. I switched out one of my goals and have now made it. I am going to podcast this year. I found the right people who gave me the right steps to take, and here I am. But if I would have said, no, in January of this year, I determined what these goals would be, and podcasting was not one of them. You have to remember, what is it you're seeking to do? Are you seeking to improve? Are you seeking to be a blessing? Are you seeking to help others? Are you seeking to improve and to constantly get better? Then there may be opportunities next month, next year, that you and I can't foresee from our vantage point today. And so don't be so hard-headed to say, I've already made up my list, I'm not going to change. Be adaptable, and especially be adaptable if it's something that's going to help you, to help others, and to achieve what you're trying to do. So I would say to you, stay flexible and stay adaptable. That doesn't mean give up on your goals, but just be adaptable, that if you have to change, change is a part of life, and it will help you. Number 8, find some accountability partners. I have mentioned that this is something I really didn't come into until later in life. And I have 3 accountability partners who live far away from me. They're not anyone that I have known. And I cannot tell you how productive they have made me, because I know every Saturday morning we're going to do a conference call together. And we've all declared to each other what our goals are and what we are seeking to achieve in the next week. And so there are times when I'm thinking, I'm going to have to talk to those guys in about 72 hours. And have I done what I told them I was going to do? It really is, again, about the word accountability. There's just some real power. I can't even exactly explain it to you. Just find somebody that you have confidence in. Share your heart. Share what you believe you'd like to do. And then not only allow them to hold you accountable, you hold them accountable. And when you mess up, we all offer grace, but we say, you can do it, get back on track. I cannot overemphasize the importance of finding an accountability partner. The 9th thing that I think is so important in the area of goals is, when you set a goal, there's going to be setbacks. There's going to be moments of discouragement when everything doesn't work out as beautifully as it looked on your planning as you were laying it out. You and I have a tendency, when we're planning, to plan the perfect scenario with no storms, no winds, no problems, no other opportunities. But the fact of the matter is, when you have set goals, stick with it even when it's hard. If you've set a yearly goal, I can tell you there's going to come a day when all the romance has gone out of that goal. But stick with it. We will never accomplish anything in life if we don't have some grit, some determination, and some of this idea that I am going to stick with the plan. The other thing I want to say to you is stay a step ahead. And by that I simply mean, it's not enough just to look at what am I needing to do today to reach that goal, but look ahead. What are you going to do the rest of the week? And when you get those few things done, what is the next step? That's so important, why I every evening have an evening routine, a part of which is I write out the 3 most important tasks I must get done the next day. So important that I won't go to bed until I get them done. And 2 of them have to do with something I'm trying to achieve, a goal. And that helps me to stay a step ahead. I don't react, but I become proactive. My friend, if you haven't set a goal, get a book, read it, plan, dream, strategize, come up with a goal or a couple of goals. And then I would invite you to just listen again to these things, what you need to do. Get the clarity, write it down, break it down into smaller steps. And remember, it's just as important that you build the process as it is to reach the goal, because that process is transferable to other things in your life. You'll make mistakes, stay adaptable, don't give up, find an accountability partner, stick with it, and keep looking ahead so that you can see where you're going. You've been listening to Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom. words on leadership, goal setting, productivity, and a whole lot more. I hope you'll consider this your vitamin or supplement for your mind, soul, body, just to be helpful. Again, if you would please subscribe to Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom, leave a rating and a brief review, it would be very, very helpful. And my last word to you today is make sure you have a goal and make sure you're consistently working at it, and you'll be surprised, literally surprised, at what can happen in your life. Until next time, this is Dr. Ron saying have a great and blessed day.